Hi there, this is Angie Alexis reporting in for my final project. So for milestone 1, I'll take you through my business description. So Treasury Wine Estates are an Australian wine distributor with many trusted and well-known local brands. Our wines are stocked in Australia in grocery, major bottle shops and cellars. We also supply restaurants and bars with premium wines, and we export them all around the world, particularly so to China. Our marketing problem is that 30% of our profits are currently made by exports to China, so from premium varietals. Recently, international import tariffs have risen to 173% from 20%. Now, this will see far less demand for our premium wines in China and will lead to increased total sales by 35% in Australia to replace this expected loss. Now, we'll need to specifically drive online sales of our premium varietals with an expected halo on common varietals to redistribute this product. Now, since the outbreak of COVID-19 and the subsequent lockdowns, we've seen an appetite for gatherings and events at an all-time high, and we see this as our greatest opportunity to drive consumption of premium wines. Now, our marketing campaign objective is to increase monthly site traffic by 50% and drive online conversions by 35%, all by December 1st, so in the next 5 months. Our secondary objective is to build our wine club loyalty program among those aged people 30 to 55 by 15%. Now, to define my audience, I used Roy Morgan data to learn more about my audience's behaviour and demographic makeup. Gut feel that they're wine drinkers and more educated. Now, I explored the latest March 2021 Roy Morgan Asteroid dataset and learned that 27% of total Australians 18 plus are wine drinkers and are university educated, earning between $100,000 and $129,000 per year. Now, further to this, 13% earn even more annually. I also discovered that 50% are aged 34 to 64 are in established careers working in professional and white-collar positions. 64% love to cook and 44% are more likely to entertain spontaneously, which also supported our target to drive reach and influence purchase for upcoming celebrations and occasions in the home. Now, this led me to 2 groups to whom I based my campaign targeting to: people aged 35 to 50, double income, no kids, living in the eastern seaboard cities and enjoy wine but admit to not knowing how to choose wine, especially high quality wine for special occasions. And 2, slightly older married couples, those aged 50 to 64, living in the suburbs, skewing to the eastern seaboard, but also live nationally, who like to celebrate special occasions and entertain in the home with friends and family. The first audience will be the target for my campaign. So for milestone 2, as a conversion-driven campaign, we'll be focusing on the user behaviour within our digital hub and landing page, tracking activity via Google Analytics. We'll specifically measure clicks, engagement, page views and bounce rates to measure how well the page is performing and gauge the quality of the user experience on site. We'll also measure these metrics by audience and location to learn which types of audiences our campaign is most successful among. This is particularly important given we're targeting an Australian audience for the first time, shifting our focus away from an international audience. Now, paid social and display will also be tracked on Google Analytics to inform us as to which formats and environments are delivering the highest quality traffic and conversions. And we'll also measure EDM activities such as click-through rate and open rates to measure engagement and performance of exclusive offers sent to members. Now, this will be trackable via UTM codes set up specifically for site creative. Now, for milestone 3, we'll be using the Google Display Network to target those who are actively searching wine information or are looking to purchase. So driving reach and awareness with the Google Display Network is a great way to build our wine club database by 15%, as we need to prospect to a new audience pool in order to grow membership sales. Now, as my campaign objective is threefold, so driving site traffic, sales and building wine club memberships, my campaign is going to be made up of 2 parts in my metrics matrix. Now, the first being reach and awareness, focusing on celebrations. So using channels such as SEM and display, which will help me target new prospective audiences to drive brand familiarity and consideration, especially with seasonal messaging. So Australia Day, Easter, Mother's Day, and other special events. Keywords can be centered around attacking the problem. So those searching for cheap wine, gifts, premium gifts, or even wine in bulk. And it's important to track this, as this will allow me to prospect new but relevant audiences. For the second part, I'll use SEM, so search engine marketing and online video via Google Display Media, so specifically YouTube, to drive wine club memberships with ad content that will provide a more qualified wine enthusiast audience with product features for some of our more premium varietals. Now, for SEM, these keywords will be focused on premium wine, so cellaring text words to answer each search query related to enthusiast-based wine behaviour. Now, to improve my Google quality score, I'll optimize search terms, ensuring that my ad copy remains relevant, seasonal, and tailored to each landing page. I will also ensure to A/B test on copy, making adjustments to produce higher click-through rate to different pages within the site. I'll also target custom affinity audiences to build reach among an already qualified audience for SEM and display, and image ads would be used to feature relevant creative to engage audiences depending on which stage of the campaign funnel they fall into. And I've also detailed a little bit more information on that here, which I'll leave for you. In milestone 4, when deciding on a social platform for my campaign, I chose Facebook, given its massive audience potential and scale. It is also a platform where users actively engage with brands. Now, this will see a combination of ad types used, including link click ads and boosted page posts from our Vinfluencer owned and shared content. Now, as my campaign objective is to drive site traffic and sales, I'll set up my campaign objective with a consideration objective to drive traffic. Now, this will allow us to drive page lands optimized towards link clicks. To target those most likely to click through, I would also consider landing page views in future to test which formats lead to stronger lead gen. In my ad sets, I'll also host dynamic creative to feature different imagery and copy combinations to optimize towards the best performing executions. The targeting, I'll reach those within 25 kilometres of the Melbourne, Sydney or Brisbane CBDs, as we've learned from our Roy Morgan research. Those specifically aged 30 to 54 with an interest in cooking, entertaining recipes, the home, premium food, earning middle to high income. And I'll also target friends of those who already like my page to reach like-minded individuals of those who already fit my target audience demographic makeup. For placements, we'll ensure to edit campaign placements towards environment with higher engagements like newsfeed, in-article and stories. We'll remove Messenger and search when we know our creative would be relevant in these placements. Now for milestone 5, in my campaign ecosystem across paid channels, I've included display and content partnerships, social, so link click ads, stories and boosted posts on Facebook, and SEM in my awareness and consideration phase. Now these channels will drive the reach and scale needed to build mass brand awareness and credibility in the Australian market. Now the key messaging in these phases will communicate tips and tricks with short, snackable, informative content, which we're confident our audience will engage with as they already have an appetite to learn more about wine in a simple and easy way. We'll also run celebration messaging as a way to drive brand consideration and prompt our audience to think about us ahead of time. So in the lead up, for example, to a public holiday or a long weekend, and not before, I guess, a last minute purchase made en route to an event, as we're trying to break this type of behaviour. Now, the objective of these assets will be to achieve engagement, leading to high quality site traffic and wine club signups. This will be measured via click-through rate and landing page views via Facebook Ad Manager and landing page bounce rate ads off Google Analytics. We'll also measure Australian website traffic from Google Analytics as our broad marketing objective sees the need to grow Australian sales, moving away from our Chinese sales. Now, at the conversion stage, additional paid assets, including Facebook Canvas and online video via YouTube, have also been included in the channel mix to communicate with richer creative that will better highlight the features and benefits of our premium wine. Now, content partnerships and display will be used slightly different in the conversion phase, which will also be feature more price-driven messaging too, and the key messaging will also be more price-led than previously to tempt audiences to purchase with an appealing offer. So, for example, 25% off our sampler bundle. We'll also only run display on lifestyle publishers, which will be less reach driven, seeing as though this audience pool will be built off those who've already landed on our page or signed up to Wine Club but haven't yet made a purchase. Now, we'll re-engage Wine Club members who have also purchased with tailored Vinfluencer boosted Facebook content in stories and in feed with seasonal based messaging. And for milestone 6, I'll provide an example of measurement that would indicate my campaign success. So as I have 3 campaign goals, I'll measure each of these goals separately with different metrics to ensure I'm adequately analysing the campaign progress towards achieving each of these goals. So for my first objective, to increase site traffic by 50%, I'll measure this by tracking click-through rate to ensure I'm seeing a rise in page lands from my paid media investment. These page lands are essential in achieving leads, so our Wine Club signups, and in time will lead to online conversions or sales. Now, for my second goal, to grow online sales by 35%, I'll track my conversion rate, ensuring that this is achieving the industry benchmark as a minimum standard. Now, this will highlight which channels are performing best and therefore should be invested in further, whilst other channels or formats that aren't working can be switched off or reduced. And lastly, for my third goal, which is to increase wine club memberships by 15%, I'll measure cost per leads to measure how effective my paid media is in delivering leads, so wine club signups. It would also be my goal to ensure that I hit the industry benchmarks as a minimum for click-through rate, lead conversion rate, and conversion rate relevant to the wine subscription category. If I could hit or exceed these benchmarks, it would indicate that my campaign was successful from a paid media standpoint. Overall, from a business perspective, it would also be important to also review the total return on investment to determine the overall gain or success of the campaign, not just review the media metrics, but ultimately the uplift in sales. Thank you for listening to my final project.